cracking, gang? It's TNasty, and I'm back with another banger for you guys. So UFC 310 is going down this weekend, and I can't lie, guys, I am bricked up for this card, absolutely soaking wet at the violence we're going to experience this Saturday. The card placement is a little goofy. I don't know why they got this homeless man Kron Gracie on the main card, but I'll let it slide because the entire card is super hot flamethrower heat. We got a sweet title fight, Shavkat violence, Nate the Train versus Duho Choi, and some insane prelims featuring my fucking boy Brian Battle. So before I put you guys on game with my official 100% accurate picks, I want to address the elephant in the room. So I had a lot planned for this pay-per-view fight week. I had the draft, of course, and my annual edit I was going to do for Shavkat. I even had another Brian Battle short planned, but college is whooping my ass and I had to put that first. Finals week is a different beast, y'all, so I apologize for that. But next week, I will be uploading the Shavkat and Brian Battle edits, win or lose, and we will be back with the draft for UFC 311 in January, which is an insane card, by the way. I'm pumped for that one as well. But I am disappointed. I was very excited to get my belt back, but shit happens for a reason, and I'll be back strong from the next shot at the TNasty MMA Championship. But with all that out of the way, it's time for my official picks, starting with the early prelims and working our way up to the main event. I'll be giving you guys my super genius, detailed, analytical breakdown for every fight. I've seen the scripts, and I'm here to give you guys the spoilers. Y'all know the drill by now. Make sure to parlay the opposite of each pick for free money. And with all that being said, let's get right down to it, gang. Starting with the early prelims, we have Kennedy Nchukwu versus Lucas Bresky. Now, I'm gonna be honest, they sent my boy Lucas to the slaughter in this one. Kennedy looked great a couple months ago against Chris Barnett at UFC 308. I think Kennedy uses his technique in this one. Lucas isn't fat like a lot of these guys, but I still think he's going to be slow against Kennedy, and you can't be slow against a guy as long as him. I think the teeps and body kicks will be there all day. I see Kennedy hurting him with a body shot, then just unloading with some crazy combos to finish him. I could see him putting him out, but I think it will be a standing TKO. So official pick is going to be Kennedy Nchukwu by round 2 TKO. Next up is my fucking boy Clay Guida. I met him, by the way. Versus another one of my boys, Chase Hooper. I love this fight. I think it's going to be entertaining as hell. Clay doesn't stop coming, and Chase is actually becoming really good low-key. He's still so young, too. I think Clay will hang in there, but I see him getting dominated on the feet and possibly dropped, and Chase showing some nasty groundwork after. I think there will be a lot of submission attempts and nasty ground and pound by Chase. As much as I love Clay, I just think it's curtains for his career, and I see him getting beat pretty badly by Chase. I'm picking Chase Hooper by decision. Third fight of the night, we have Michael Chiesa versus Max Griffin. This is a piss break of a fight, let's be honest. There's no women's fights, so we gotta fit the break in somewhere. But for real though, this is the type of fight where Chiesa loses by submission. He gets subbed by guys who are more strikers with decent submission games. I think Max is gonna piece Mike up on the feet, and then catch him shooting with either a guillotine or a Darce or something like that. This happens to Chiesa every time he faces someone like Max. So I'm picking Max Griffin by round 3 submission. Next up, it'll be Josh Van versus Cody Durden. I'm looking forward to this one. I think this could be fight of the night, especially if a certain fight wasn't on this card. But this one will be good for sure. Durden is a dirty vet. He'll do whatever it takes to win. Josh Van is a young prospect who comes to bang. I think Durden will probably use his wrestling in this one. I think Van will be able to not be held down and will probably have a big rally in the third round. But I see Durden just getting ahead in round 1 and 2. And so I'm picking Cody Durden by decision. And ending the early prelims, we got Chris Weidman versus Eric Anders. This was supposed to be a couple weeks ago at UFC 309, but as we know, it got canceled the day of. I think Anders got food poisoning, but they got rebooked here. I can't remember who I picked last time, but as you guys know, I am Chris Weidman's biggest hater, and I'm always preying on his downfall. He's definitely going to try and crotch sniff, maybe even throw a few eye pokes, especially with the old gloves on. But I saw recently that Eric Anders is locked in now, so he's going to be on point here. Yeah, Chris Weidman sucks, and I want to see him get knocked out, so I'm picking Eric Anders by round 1 KO. Now for the main prelims, we kick off with my fucking boy Brian Battle versus Randy Brown. I think this fight will be sick. Both guys are really good strikers with low-key ground games, so I think it will match up very well. I see Randy staying long and picking his shots, while Brian will try and make it dirty and violent. I think Brian will have to take a few shots on the way in, but eventually he'll be able to start doing damage and hurting Randy, backing him up to the cage. I see in my crystal ball Brian Battle choking him unconscious. I'm predicting a war for 2.5 rounds, and then Brian snatches up a guillotine in round 3 and chokes Randy the fuck out. I think this will be a very violent and entertaining fight. possibly fight of the night, but like I said earlier, there's another fight that will definitely get it, so maybe a performance bonus for Brian. But yeah, I'm picking Brian Battle by round 3 submission. Moving on, we have Movsar Evloev versus Aljamain Sterling. Absolutely disrespectful card placement, putting this on the prelims while Kron Gracie is on the main card. This is literally the #1 contender fight with 2 fights from the same division on the main card over it. But it does make sense. This will probably be boring. I will definitely be rooting for Aljo, but I just see Movsar winning. I think he will still grapple and be able to outpoint Aljo on the ground. I see it being somewhat similar to the first fight with Peter Yan for Aljo, where he is just spamming and Movsar just stays patient and outpoints him. Obviously, this one isn't going to decision. That's a lock for sure, but I'm picking Movsar Evloev to get the decision win. Next up is Vicente Luque versus Themba Gorimbo. It's a damn shame. This was supposed to be Nick Diaz, but it is what it is. I hope he's doing okay. As for this fight, I think Luque is fucked. He got broken by Jeff Neal after that knockout, and now he just isn't the same. 5 years ago, I would say Luque wipes the floor with Gorimbo, but now I'm not so sure. I think Luque will do okay on the feet, but he just isn't a killer anymore, so I don't think he'll be able to get the finish or really do any damage. I think Gorimbo is going to wrestle and just hold Luque down. I don't think he'll be able to finish Luque either, but I see him holding him down and getting the decision win. So I'm picking Themba Gorimbo by boring, sleep-inducing, sport-killing decision. And wrapping up the prelims is Dominic Reyes versus Anthony Lionheart Smith. I mean, on paper, it should be an easy win for Anthony Smith, but Dominic Reyes is a multi-sport athlete. I don't know, man. There's a lot going into this one. If we look at MMA math, Dom Reyes won against John Jones, and Anthony got his ass whooped. So therefore, Dom should win. But honestly, this is the type of fight that Anthony Smith somehow accidentally ends up winning. I can just see Reyes hurting him and being in control until his dumbass leaves his neck out and gets submitted. But I am going to stick with my heart. I still believe in the Dominic Reyes title run, so I'm picking Dominic Reyes to win by knockout in round 2. Now, time for the main card. We kick off with an absolute banger in Nate the Train Landwehr versus Duho Choi. This is the one I was alluding to earlier for fight of the night. They might as well give these guys the 50K early. It will absolutely be fight of the night. This one is a lock. I think this one will be a late entry for the fight of the year conversation. Both guys just have insanity written all over them. This is one of my favorite fights they have made all year. As for the fight, I think Duho is going to hurt Nate early, probably get close to a finish, but Nate will survive and bring the fight back. I see Duho winning round 1, and then Nate coming back and taking 2 and 3. It'll be back and forth chaos, but I see Landwehr just having more big moments and pushing Duho once he gets tired after chasing the finish. I'm picking Nate Landwehr by decision, but this will definitely be a banger of a fight and one of the best of the year. Next up, we have Bryce Mitchell versus the homeless man, Kron Gracie. Abysmal fight placement. This should not be on the main card. I get that these guys are both cool, but I think this matchup will just make for a boring ass fight. I used to like Kron a lot, but then he had 2 terrible performances and showed to be nowhere near as good as we all thought he was. I'm not sure why he's even still fighting. He clearly doesn't care to be as good as he can be. He probably just wants to get out of his contract for real, but I think Bryce is going to dominate him, similar to the Jourdain fight. Kron will pull guard and butt scoot and all that. I do think Bryce is dumb enough to actually play in Kron's guard, but I don't think he will get finished. I do see a close call happening though in like round 2 or 3 with Kron getting a pretty deep choke, but I think Bryce will be able to get out. Regardless, I'm picking Bryce Mitchell to win by decision. Now, for the feature fight, we have Cyril Gane versus Alexander Volkov 2. Kind of a dumb rematch. I mean, I get both guys are 1 win away from a title shot, but they could have fought other people. This is what we get though. I think this fight will be boring, just like the first time, but I see Volkov getting the win this time around. I think he is going to use his grappling, probably hold Gane down for at least 2 rounds. I do think Cyril will try and play it safe and coast to a win, and I think that's going to cost him. He needs to get a finish this time against salon quality Volkov. I think the ring rust is going to show for Gane as well. The official pick is Alexander Volkov by decision. Now for the co-main event, we have Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Ian Machado Ferry. It's about time we see someone finally send Ian back to the cup chair. Hey, but shout out to Ian Garry for real. Nobody else in the division stepped up. Soyboy Covington, Marty Fake Newsman, none of them wanted smoke with Shavkat. Ian was somehow the only one with enough balls to take the fight. I know he had to get his wife's boyfriend's permission first, but mad respect Ian. In all seriousness though, I do fear that Ian will stink it up and get the win, but I'm sticking with my gut. Shavkat is going to destroy this little soy boy. He's going to take Ian's cuck chair and beat him with it and then send him back to the corner crying. I think Ian will try and stay on his bike, stay long, use a lot of leg kicks and head kicks, but I just can't see this fight going 5 rounds without Shavkat starting to find his range and finishing him. I think Shavkat will mangle Ian's face with elbows and jabs and eventually hurt Ian. I'm seeing a knee to the body that drops Ian, and then Shavkat will get it to the ground and choke Ian unconscious with an arm triangle. I think Shavkat is going to struggle a tad bit at first, but eventually will demolish Ian Ferry. I'm picking Shavkat Rakhmonov to win by round 4 submission. And now for the main event of the evening, Alexandre Pantoja versus Kai Asakura. I think this fight will be decent, but not quite as good as some other Pantoja fights. I think Pantoja is going to wrestle on this one like he has been recently since winning the belt. I see Asakura not letting him hold him down and possibly hurting or even dropping Pantoja, but he isn't going to be able to crack that chin. I just see Pantoja chain wrestling and doing enough to get the win. Asakura is a bit of an unknown, so I think Pantoja will play it safe. He can't risk losing to the belt to this guy. I think we will see an illegal knee in this one due to Asakura fighting previously with the Pride rules. It won't end the fight though. Ultimately, I just can't see Asakura being able to win this. I mean, the guy lost him in El Cap. I just think Pantoja is too good and will come with a smart game plan to retain the belt. I'm picking Alexandre Pantoja to retain by decision. So those are the picks, guys. I got Kennedy Nzechukwu by TKO, Chase Super by decision, Max Griffin by sub, Cody Durden by decision, Eric Anders by KO, Brian Battle by submission, Movsar Evloev by decision, Themba Gorimbo by decision, Dominic Reyes by KO, Nate Landwehr decision, Bryce Mitchell decision, Alexander Volkov decision, Shavkat Rakhmonov by sub, and Alexandre Pantoja by decision. You guys know what to do. Throw the opposite of that in a parlay if you want free money. Now before I wrap up, a few overall predictions for the card. Landwehr versus Choi will obviously be fight of the night, not a doubt in my mind. As per performance of the night, I see it going to Brian Battle and Shavkat Rakhmonov. Every year the December pay-per-view ends up being super stacked and hyped up, but ends up being super disappointing, especially the main event. I think this one will follow suit. The prelims are going to be crazy for sure, but I see the main event and most of the main cards stinking it up. I also think we will see 2 retirements with Clay Guida and Chris Weidman. And then lastly, this one is a lock, but we're going to hear insane glaze for Shavkat Rakhmonov on commentary. Alright, that's it for the prediction video, guys. Once again, I apologize for no draft or edit this week. It's been a really tough one for me, but we got UFC 310 coming, and that will definitely relieve my stress. Make sure to tune in next week. I will be dropping the Shavkat and Brian Battle edits, win or lose, and I will be back in January for the UFC 311 draft to get my belt back. We got one more week of fights left after this pay-per-view, then it's a month break from the UFC, so I will be dropping a lot of content to fill the void, so stay tuned for that. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like, leave a comment, hit that subscribe button, share this shit on Facebook, ring the notification bell, become a member, create a second account, and then repeat those steps for me. As always, if you aren't doing those things, you're just a straight up casual. I say this with all due respect, but if you want to be a Test Max, hardcore MMA fan like myself, you must be subscribed to this channel. We are on the road to 250 subscribers, gang. Let's hit that before the end of the year. When I hit that goal, I will be doing a giveaway, so make sure to subscribe if you want a chance to be one of the lucky winners. Most people don't even realize that they haven't subscribed, so go ahead and hit that button down below if you haven't already. It helps me out a lot. But with all that being said, I'm out. Take it easy, gang.